South African actress and musician Letoya Makhene is the voice of a new single-player action-adventure platform EA game, Tales of Kenzera, Zao. Makhene will play the character of Mama in support of the main character, Zao, who is the grieving hero determined to bring his father back from the dead. The game is created by Surgent Studios and published through EA Games, inspired by its creator, actor Abubakar Salim. The game is recorded in 2 languages, English and Swahili. I'm now joined by Letoya Makhene, and will be joined by Salim, who is based in the UK, via our virtual streams. Welcome to Weekend Report. It's such an honor to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's good to have you. Like, this is incredible. What really captured me about this particular game is that it's not just any game.
Yeah.
It is a game that is intertwined with our identity as Africans. Talk to me about how you were identified as the voice for Mama.
Well, it's actually a very interesting story. This is a story of divine intervention, alignment. So outside of being an actress and a musician, I am also a traditional health practitioner, a sangoma. And I got a very unexpected email one day from a company based in the UK, but the person who was the go-to, the contact between us and them was someone based in the States. And they were wondering if I could come on as a spiritual advisor for the game because of the intricacies of this game. It's not just any kind of game. It is very spiritual. It's about this young boy's spiritual journey in discovering himself. And they didn't want to miss a beat on how they are representing true African culture and the essence of Ubuntu. And so they needed a spiritual advisor to come in and just give some direction and to tell them if what they're doing does feel correct or not. And, well, some way, somehow, as we were doing and having talks about me coming on as a spiritual advisor, and Abu kind of heard the voice because we were speaking virtually, and he kind of dug a little more into who I am, what I do, and he just came up with the amazing idea of me being the voice of Mama.
And this idea that he came up with is based on his true life story.
Yes.
Well, we happen to have Abu on the line from the UK right now. Abu, welcome to the Weekend Report. My goodness.
Thank you.
You reached out to Letoya Makhene through your team. What on earth were you thinking? Tell me about the concept behind this game.
You know, again, the game is inspired by, my own journey through grief. Having lost my father 10 years ago. And I feel like it's funny, I always feel like I'm almost still communicating with him, and even stronger now. And I think, for me, it was important to capture that authenticity, that truth. And the thing about talking to Letoya was, it just felt right. It was, I don't know how to explain it. It just did. And, Letoya was not only incredibly informative of the process, she was also just incredibly understanding. And I think that's why, this whole process of making this game, of sharing it to the world, showing our culture to the world, has just felt almost seamless. And I think, even when it came to, Letoya coming on and playing Mama, that guide for Zao Zuberi, that almost North Star, again, it just felt right. And I tell you what, I'm excited to be bringing this game, this game that is very Afrocentric, that's very celebratory of our tribes, our culture, to the wider world.
Yeah, you speak about it feeling right, and I love the focus around our tribe, our culture, our heritage. Why is this particular theme important to you as the creator of the game?
It's because I pull it from a place of authenticity. And even though I was brought up in London, my father, he was Kenyan. And he would tell me all the stories about, his father, his culture, the tribes that way. Even when I was filming Raised by Wolves actually in Cape Town. And even by then, I was exposed to, the Zulu, the Xhosa, like all these incredible tribes and stories. And it was just, again, for me, even though the story is about grief and it's about the journey of grief, it's this coming-of-age story, at its heart, it is really, truly also about identity. And I feel like I myself have been, trying to find my identity and searching for my identity, especially, again, being brought up here in London. So to connect with, again, my true culture, where I am from, has been really, really important.
Before I dig deeper into your role in this, Goko, I want to ask you, Abubakar, why Letoya specifically? How did that come about?
Man.
Divine is this the part where we say divine intervention, Abu?
Honestly,
really was.
It really is. It really was. The thing is, again, like we really wanted to, again, as I said, as Letoya, beautifully said, we wanted to represent this game and not miss a beat. We wanted it to be honest and authentic. And so, when we were looking and when we were searching, we found Letoya. And again, it was almost like we didn't have to look hard. It was sort of, again, it just happened. We found Letoya. We reached out to Letoya. Everything kind of happened, and it was almost like going down like a stream that was going in our direction.
You couldn't resist it. I mean, divine intervention, as you say, coming to you, Letoya. So you received this communication, and then what? So what was the first thing on your mind when you got this comm?
I'm thinking, okay, Spirit is really challenging me now. What is it that I'm supposed to do on an EA game as a spiritual advisor? So, inindaba sihamba ngamadlozi la kule game or kwenze njani. Okay, so then I just decided I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to let Spirit lead, and that's just how the process started. And basically, I had to facilitate everything, like the communication between us and them, and being here in South Africa, and then the studio, and then just making sure that everything is scheduled to perfection alongside their team, and then also us taking into consideration all the time differences between the UK and the States. It was a lot of facilitating, but I also had great support. So we managed to do it really well.
Before we talk about all of that facilitating and all the high-level conversations, what on earth does a spiritual advisor do in this context? What is your role exactly?
So, look, it was different. Obviously, I've been a spiritual advisor on some amazing series here in our country. And for me, that became an extension of my work as a sangoma. So I celebrated it. And then what does a spiritual advisor entail in a game? It's pretty much like it would be in a series or a film, because there's a script that is written, and the people around you, the script department or the creators, being Abu and them, are the people that come to you and say, this is our vision, this is the idea that we have. Are we moving in the right direction? And I would then speak to them about either how much further they could delve into it. I would give them access to points or things that they might have missed out on, or I get an understanding of what they're trying to say, but I'd also say, here's another way that you could possibly say it. A spiritual advisor would also then come on and say, I think that one is a little far-fetched. Maybe we should come back and just bring it home a little bit. That is the role of a spiritual advisor. You are just there to guide everyone's thought processes in the right direction, so that everyone gives the culture, or what they're trying to dig deep into, the respect that it deserves. That really is what it is.
Abubakar, why is this so important?
Oh, it's important because it's truth. It's about being honest. It's about being authentic. I think there are many a time you don't see representation of our culture a lot in mainstream media.
Yeah.
Especially in today. And when you have that chance to be authentic and be truthful, you have to be You have to do it right. And it's not only for us and for the people who are going to be playing it, but it's also for the people that we're representing and the people that we are actually speaking for. This is why it's important.
And tell me more about that, because you talk about the fact that we don't see much of our linguistic representation, your choice of English and Swahili, if you can expand on that.
Yeah, again, I went to EA Games with the intention of making sure that we were voice-overed in at least 2 languages. Again, this is our first game, so I said it's going to be English and it's going to be Swahili. And Swahili, that's my mother tongue. That's my my father's tongue. That's my family's tongue. So it was important to get that on board. And even though they've never done it before, there was this almost feeling of like, okay, well, we're going to have to learn about this. We're going to have to do it.
Yeah.
And the truth is, it's just about doing it. It's about actually exposing it. Then we can then have games voiceovered in Zulu, Xhosa, like all in Yoruba. Like this is the beginning, and that's why again I'm trying to show like it isn't difficult. It is just about doing it, and I think. Yeah.
Well, bro, you did it. You did it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you did it well. And we thank you. We thank you so much.
You.
Yeah.
We thank you so much. Goko, now, what does this mean for African identity moving forward? Thinking about our children. You're a mother, I'm a mother.
Yeah.
Our children love to play games.
Yeah.
What is the crucial role that purposeful gaming can play in society?
We are living in a very technological era. We are living in an era where we can maybe tell our kids how much time they get on their games or on their phones or their electronics, but we can't necessarily take it away from them.
Yeah.
And for me, this is just so thoughtful. It is so guided of Abu to be able to come up with something where our children are not only going to sit and play a game where they are going from point A to point Z and trying to navigate through the maze of the game and be the winner, but to also come out with something from the playing. I'm so big not only on entertainment, but edutainment. If we can educate our children, our people through entertainment, then why not? I think it's really important for us to be conscientized. We are in the age of Aquarian, and everyone is beginning to ask so many questions about who they are, where they come from, what they're about. And if we can give it to them in the form of a game, why not?
Thokoza Goko.
Ndawe.
Ndawe. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, my love.
Onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. Thokoza.